Good afternoon, good morning. Don't know where you are in the world, but wherever we are, it's sunny. It's always sunny here.
Aloha! And welcome to Who Closed Last Night, brought to you by Walnut Street Hospitality Group. I'm Zach and...
I'm Stan.
All right.
So here we are with another, I guess what we hope will be some helpful information. We call it a real life lesson, but a lesson almost sounds like, I don't know, too formal maybe?
It was definitely a real life experience for us. And we took away a lesson.
There we go. So here's how we do this. We have come up with some points that we think could help you in your business, regardless of what kind of business it is. And we only know this because we failed.
These are things that we wish someone was showed us and we could learn off their experience and not have to fall on our own face.
That's exactly right.
So we're doing this for everybody out there that wants to follow and pay attention to our podcast, right? And learn something from some people that have gone through some things, have successful restaurants, and want to impart on the crowd out there.
There we go. So with that being said, today's lesson, we'll just call it a lesson from our experience, is called internal marketing opportunities. Is your team, are you, not your team being also including you, is your team trained to listen for potential opportunities to grow the sales in your business? And that, I think, some people are probably out there saying, we market all the time. We do this, we do that, we advertise. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the stuff that's already in your business. So the question is, what business opportunities are you missing by not paying attention to the customer in your location and what they are saying or doing?
Are you actively listening to your guest?
Yeah. Well, and communicating to your guests, right? Because I think some of it is about what you hear, then maybe about a couple questions that give you a little more information.
It's crazy how much more questions, how much more information that'll bring to your plate, right?
That is so funny. Yes, literally only 2 more questions. Maybe 3 if you really want to get good, but we find out so much stuff in our stores, and we're going to share a couple stories with you. We had opened a location, one of our locations in Hawaii, and it was just kind of one of those slow spring days when there's, you're not full of tourists and you're not full of locals. It's kind of...
You've been open for a month.
You've been open for a month, maybe 2 months, and you're thinking, they don't love me.
Yeah.
And because they're not knocking down the doors like they are maybe in some of your other locations. So we just happened to be there, and we're all there because it's a new location. We're listening, we're helping, and it was a weekday, and a lady with 2 of her kids came in. They weren't in school or anything, and we just started talking to her. And
you guys doing anything fun today? That is a powerful question.
And you get the answers you get from that are...
It's such a spectrum.
It is such a spectrum, but if you listen, you can get business out of that.
Gotta follow the breadcrumbs.
Follow the breadcrumbs. You even throw some on the floor, let them follow them a little bit.
That's right. That is right.
So when this happened, we just, this lady said, oh, my son is here for a water polo tournament.
Oh, wow, that sounds awesome. Who's hosting that?
Who's hosting that? Oh, it's at one of the local prep schools, and we were all excited about it, and we said, oh, wow. And the kid really liked the food,
yes.
Right? That's one thing, and he loved the logo that we had.
Also, the parent was talking about how no place was open. She's from out of town. She found us using Yelp, right? Which is all great, information to tuck away in your head.
All great information to tuck away in your head. But all we did to
Dun,
fill
dun,
up the
dun.
restaurant that weekend was to find out that there was a water polo tournament at a local high school.
Then it was field trip time.
Then it was field trip time. What did we do? We went to the water polo pool where they were having this competition. You know, I'm not a water polo expert or professional, so I don't
Coulda
know
fooled
how
us.
they call that a pool or a field or
A court?
a court. I don't know, but it's a pool to me.
Yes. Yeah.
We went there with menus. We had given the kid a T-shirt and
Yep.
asked him to wear it around the, when he was wearing a shirt. And lo and behold, we got to hand out menus.
Yes.
And every day, the next 2 mornings, we were packed with water polo.
I remember this. The host of the event,
Yes.
right, and is held in a gymnasium of some sort, right, wherever the pool's kept, and but you had to go through the double doors,
Yes.
right, and
Yep.
they had a foldable table set up with a tablecloth and people checking people's tickets, whatever. Registration. There we
Yep,
go.
yep.
I didn't play water polo either. But they became advocates because they heard all the parents, oh, we couldn't find breakfast, or we're in a rush, or this, that, and everything happening. So we actually solved a problem, just like the parents saying, I'm from out of town, you guys are the only place open, I found you on Yelp. Those are important because everybody that came from out of town are having the same issues, right? That's a common problem. So when we showed up with takeout menus, introducing ourselves and saying, hey, we're X amount of minutes over here, come check us out. We solved a problem for them.
Yes.
All their patrons were hungry, didn't know where to go, and they're about to go swim or something a lot.
Whatever they do in
They
water
needed
polo.
the calories.
They needed the calories. But I think the point that we're trying to make is that happens in all of your locations all the time, right? It might not be a water
Yes.
polo tournament, but it might be, oh, my family's in town. Oh, we'll bring them back, right?
Yes.
Oh, we're going to, cookout tomorrow. Hey, we sell our food in big family packs.
You know what I like to take to a cookout? A tray of Kahlua pork.
Ah, yum.
Everybody will love you after that.
Everybody, and that, by the way, he's not just saying that, that's true. Kahlua pork is so delicious. I've gained 30, 40 pounds, since I started doing Kahlua pork. But the point really here is that all of these opportunities are there if you listen.
Internal marketing opportunities.
Internal marketing opportunities, but you also, it can't just be you all the time, right?
No, you got to teach them how to fish.
You got to teach them how to fish. And I think that's the most important thing is when they hear something, they got to realize that they're hearing something.
Their ears got to perk up like, all right, they have a need.
Yep.
They're going to a family reunion. Their whole family's going to be there. They just said they all moved out here from Hawaii. What's better than show up with a pan of Kahlua pig and rice or some Asian ribs?
Yeah. Okay.
People might not know about that.
I'm
but
getting hungry now.
yeah.
We got to stop. So with that being said, can you think of another example?
Absolutely. I've been thinking about this the whole time. So I had this manager. Started out great, but, within that first 4-month time frame, things changed, right? And I started to think that maybe it was definitely negatively affecting the business, but I didn't know if that was a result of having a slow start of a business, or if that was the result of having a poor manager, right at the helm in the leadership position. And I guess so. My example is this: it was a previous manager. I had to go in, let him go. We parted ways. Brought in a new guy, but that entire next week, probably the span of 10 to 14 days, opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Knock on my door, rang my phone line, walked in and introduced themselves to me. And I didn't do anything special, just showed up and did what I would do for any business, right? And I can't tell you we had a 40% increase in revenue in that short amount of time just by listening to the guest, answering the phone, and saying, "Hey, how can I help you with that?"
So I'm sure there were a few other things that. What I guess what I'm going to ask you is, what are the questions that you asked to get that business, right?
Great questions, and you're right. There are, and they're almost like second nature to me. So, one of them is, "Hey, what brought you into the store today?" Right? You
What do
never
they
know.
normally say that gives you the next clue for the next question?
Oh, I don't even know, but I'm going to tell you a couple. Yelp brought me in.
Okay.
So that's the biggest driver for us, and it's always based off of quality food and great service, right? You can't turn down a better solution to your hunger than going somewhere with great food and great service.
Right.
Another one is, well, depending on where I'm at. Oh, I'm from Hawaii, and this is Hawaiian food, and I'm homesick, right? So that brought him in the door. And I had this gentleman crying in the lobby, and they weren't sad tears. They were happy tears.
He must have really been hungry.
Oh, he was. You know what? We touch every table, right? So we build a rapport with our guests. And I spoke to this gentleman because it was around the time we opened. He had just got back from Japan. He was away on business. He lives here in Las Vegas, but he's from the islands, right? He's from Hawaii. He was eating the Kalua pig. I was touching his table. He had a tear running down his face. He said the Kalua pig reminded him of home. He hadn't been back to the islands in so long. And the song that was playing, we got to play Hawaiian reggae, right?
Right.
Just to complete the vibe. And he's like, this is the song that I gave away my daughter to at her wedding. And it was
I'm
just...
about to cry now.
But food is powerful. Food can take you, that's part of memory, that's part of great times, and transports you.
So how did that turn into marketing?
Yes, great. So he fell in love with us in the dining room, right? So first time in, missed Hawaiian food, found us. Anyways, so his work does office visits, or not office visits, but they pick up breakfast or lunch for their entire office. But we built such a great rapport with him in that small 30-minute break he had with us, that he wanted to share that experience with his whole team.
So he bought some more food.
Bought some more food.
Took it to work. Extended our
Aloha.
Our ohana.
Yes, right? There you go.
And
everybody fell in love.
And the loyal customer.
Amen.
I think one of the things that I always find interesting in the questions that you ask is, do you work around here or do you live around here?
Yes.
And I think I know some of the stores you've told me are from like some courts, some tennis courts or whatnot. Some gentleman came in and
yes,
you made a new friend there.
I made a new friend, and I love hearing that they frequented one of our restaurants in a different state, right? Because they're familiar with the brand. They pull out their phone after they burned all the calories on the field or on the court or in the pool, whatever it might be, and they're looking for something tasty, and they're like, oh, we got to go to Kono's, right? So he came in, and I was telling you about this. Within the hour, I had everybody from the pickleball tournament in the dining room because this guy was like, oh, you guys got to go here. This is good food. It's a half a mile away, and you guys will love it. And a lot of them flew in from Hawaii for this tournament.
Wow.
It's always a small world.
It is way smaller than you can imagine.
And it's getting smaller.
I can't tell you the number of times people have come in and said, I'll ask, what made you decide to come in? And their answer was, when we were on our honeymoon in Hawaii, right? We stopped in one of your restaurants and
made us feel special.
I think probably in our franchise inquiries, we've had people that say, oh, we were in one of your locations and loved the food. The staff was so friendly.
The vibe is just right.
And we think it would be great in wherever we live And all that came about from conversation, right?
Yes.
So then you can point them in the right direction to help them with their needs and make your location or establishment even more likable.
That's absolutely correct. And rapport is a powerful thing.
Yes.
If you feel like you got a friend at a restaurant, that's
Yeah.
your favorite restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Easy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think one of the other things that you said about that was building rapport. I think we mostly call that building a relationship, right? It's that,
Yes.
that instantaneous relationship. Few sentences, a big smile, a little
Can
bit.
I help you?
Genuine,
Yes.
attitude, genuine good attitude. And that helps build that reputation and that instant relationship.
I'd agree.
So back to the internal marketing. It's important that you listen to your guests, that you teach your team members and team leaders to listen to your guests, because there's a big pond of fish out there that you're not getting unless you listen to what people are saying.
Yes. And it could be the same customer that comes in for lunch every day that didn't even know you had a catering menu,
That's right.
but they're having an open house next week.
Or you've got a special menu item that you just started, and you give them one of them, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!"
When does this go on the menu?
And I'm bringing the office back, right? I can't
That's
tell you
right.
how often that happens. And I think you never know who your customers are, because I know we have a restaurant that does a lot of catering for films.
Yes.
And that all happened because they came in, loved the food, went back to their film office or production, and the next thing you know, we're doing 30-person breakfast to take out because they're filming somewhere. But you just got to listen and ask.
And you get the next season.
Yes.
When they come back, and you get the next series of a different show because it's all the same film crew.
So we got to end the strike.
In the strike.
Okay, so with that being said, we're down to the lesson, and I think the lesson really is you got to pay attention, you got to be creative, and more importantly, you got to get the business. It's mostly about being aware and taking action when you hear something. When you're looking for the opportunities that other people miss.
Yes, and you can't be at your business every day.
Nope.
So you got to develop your staff. You got to develop your team. You've got to make sure we got a line in the water 24/7, because there's always opportunity to be had.
That's right. And how can people reach us and tell us their stories, about creating opportunity?
That's a great question, and I think I made it convenient for everybody, right? So we're going to just stop everything we're doing out there right now. We're going to follow us on Instagram at whoclosedlastnight_, and that's going to be the same thing for TikTok. We're on both. You can check us out everywhere. So at whoclosedlastnight_, you can watch us at Who Closed Last Night podcast. You can listen to us on Spotify at Who Closed Last Night, and you can send your stories, your experiences, your requests for videos, your comments, if you want to make fun of me, that's fine, but please send all of that to whoclosedlastnightpod, P-O-D, at gmail.com. We look forward to it all. We invite it all, and hey, give us an opportunity to feature our audience and what they think about the show.
And speaking of our audience, so we're at that point now in our podcast where, we have people that send us comments or tell us we're stupid, or, I don't know, talk about dogs and barking. That was the last one. Sorry.
Sometimes they agree with us.
Sometimes
There
they
we
agree
go.
with us.
There we go.
Which we love. And so we're at that point now. And today, for this particular segment, we're going to refer back to the one where our question was, what would you rather have in one of your team leaders, loyalty or performance? And of course, I think most of us would all rather have both.
Why choose?
Why do you have to choose?
Yes.
So anyway, we had someone, something boys is where it came from. And they happen to say that loyalty, unfortunately, it's not appreciated anymore. And I would have to say that that's all about the business, right?
I'm glad you said that. You're right. You're absolutely right.
I think that and I also think it depends on what it is you're looking for people to show loyalty, right? We're in a very unique time of life now where there's multiple generations with multiple beliefs and multiple feelings about work ethic, about time working.
People are working longer too.
And people are working later in their lives.
Yes.
So I would not say that loyalty isn't appreciated anymore. I would say that, at least from my perspective, if there's someone loyal, I think you try to be loyal to them, right? Yeah. You try to develop a loyalty. Sometimes there just isn't.
And loyalty doesn't make up for poor performance.
No, not
right?
at all.
So,
not at all.
So loyalty can't be your saving grace to climb the corporate ladder or get to where you want in life. It's going to complement what you're trying to do there, but you have to back it up with some performance.
Yes,
right?
You got to back it up with performance. But to answer this person in particular, I believe that loyalty is there. I also believe that it may not be as prevalently shown as in the past.
I would completely agree with it. And we're going to assume that this person has great work performance, right? So loyalty is just a cherry on top.
Right.
But I think maybe from a different perspective, maybe something like a severance package, right? Because that'd be loyal. You'd work your whole life for them, and then you'd be guaranteed this package at the end of the day because you showed them 30 years of making their company great, and that kind of thing isn't offered anymore. But the world's all changed.
Yep.
And there's different opportunities, and it's competitive.
It's competitive. So with that being said, we want to thank you for the comment. Something for us to chew on, think about, bark about, all of those kinds of things. And that brings us to wrapping this segment up of our podcast, Who Closed Last Night, brought to you by Walnut Street Hospitality Group. And we do want you to like us and hope that you do. And send us your comments and your own ideas. And we're going to wrap it up with one word, and that word is aloha.